For the trig test in this course, I'll give you a template like this, blank, and you can fill it in. And the beauty of filling in the unit circle is, again, it gives you answers to questions you will be asked anytime anything's looking for an exact value. So the first thing I do when filling it out is I'm going to mark in all the degrees. So this first positive x-axis is 0 degrees, and then what I do is I'm going to go up by 30s and just go all the way around the circle, filling it in. So it's 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. Everyone in the middle of 30 and 60, in the middle of 120 and 150, those are 45s, and you want to skip those because 30 doesn't go into those. So they're not part of the pattern for the 30s. And then I just keep on going all the way around till I get to 360. Now I'm going to fill in the 45s, so I'm just going to count by 45. So it's 45, 90, 135, 180, 225, 270, plus 45 is 315. And now I've filled in all the angles in degrees. To fill in radians, it's up to you. You could convert all of the angles in degrees to radians, or this is what I would do. So I'm going to go 0 first, and then I know this is pi over 6 is my first reference angle. Okay, over far left, that's pi, and then I know pi is 6 pi over 6. So the one before it was 5 pi over 6, the one after it is 7 pi over 6. Then I know this is 2 pi, which is the same as 12 pi over 6. So the one before it had to be 11 pi over 6. Then I'm going to go up 1, and 45 degrees is pi over 4. So then pi is 4 pi over 4. So one before it is 3 pi over 4. One after it is 5 pi over 4. 2 pi is 8 pi over 4. So this one before it is 7 pi over 4. This next one is pi over 3, because pi over 3 is 60 degrees. So then pi is 3 pi over 3. One before it is 2 pi over 3. One after it is going to be 4 pi over 3. 2 pi is 6 pi over 3. So to go one less, it's 5 pi over 3. And now we're dealing with the pi over 2, which is 90. So I could just label that pi over 2, and then I know pi is 2 pi over 2. So then down at 270 is 3 pi over 2. And now I got all the angles in radians, and now I just got to start putting in the coordinates. So I always put the coordinates on the x and y axis first, and just remember the radius of this circle is 1. So this point 1 to the right is 1, 0. The point 1 up, it's not going left or right, so the x coordinate's 0, the y coordinate's 1. To the left is negative 1, 0, and down is 0, negative 1. Now what I notice is that 1 is the same as the square root of 4 over 2. The reason I recognize that is because that's actually the pattern. As we go up then, it just decreases, and it's always the square root and then divided by 2. So it goes root 4 over 2, then root 3 over 2, root 2 over 2, root 1 over 2, which is just 1, and then you can even say root 0 over 2 is 0 for the last one. And then the other side's just the opposite. So it's basically from the 1 is root 4 over 2 at the top, and then it goes down, root 3 over 2, so these are the y values, root 2 over 2, root 1 over 2, and then 0. And then what you have to remember is all you really need to memorize is that first quadrant, because then to get into the second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant, all you're doing is bringing these points and making sure that in the second quadrant, x is negative, y is positive. In the third quadrant, both are negative, x is negative and y is negative. And in the fourth quadrant, x is positive and y is negative. And there is the completely filled in unit circle. So in the next couple pages, I'm going to show you some examples of once you have the filled in unit circle, how you can use it to answer questions.